One of the best things about Harvard is Harvard Square. It's got street musicians, jugglers, self-styled preachers. It's a total circus. But Harvard has other things going for it too. Famous professors, top-ranked teams in ice hockey and rowing, and a talented, self-confident student body. If writing comedy is your thing, you ought to know that an unusually large percentage of people who've written for Saturday Night Live develop their talents writing for the Harvard Lampoon, an undergraduate humor magazine. Harvard can open doors, but before you take any of this too seriously, consider that the most financially successful man or woman of the last 20 years never even got his degree. Bill Gates dropped out after 1 year to start a huge computer software company. Today, he's a billionaire. Bill Gates didn't need Harvard, but few high school seniors decline a Harvard admission. But you have to feel sorry for those that do. For the rest of their life, they'll tell people they turned down Harvard, and nobody will believe them.
And I'm telling them things now like, well, you know, I really like working with children, and I'd kind of like to go back to Italy. I studied in Italy this past summer. And they're like, we sent you to Harvard to be a teacher? What?
Stop texting around the world, man, you a big
It's funny because I came here thinking, well, I'll be the next Kissinger. You know, I thought I was going to go into international. No, didn't you? Didn't you come here with like delusions of grandeur? I did.
You just walk out your door and you're in Harvard Square where things are happening all the time, and you've got Boston right nearby with plenty to do. And it seemed like if I'm going to be here 4 years, I better have enough activities to keep me busy for 4 years. Just in the area and so forth. I looked at a place like New Haven, Connecticut, where there's nothing to do for miles around. And I said, after 1 month in this place, I'm going to be sick of it.
The other thing is that the individuals are outstanding. They absolutely are. You've got, you know, Olympic athletes and movie stars and you know, people who have been published writing, and just to meet them and just to be on equal footing with them, that's really excellent.
Now, in this game, what you're trying to do is kill or be killed. It's just move as fast as you can, kill as many people as you can.
I lived with a family and learned German and went to a German high school and worked for NATO. I worked at the European headquarters. I was a cocktail waitress in the officers' club.
I took a history of ancient Greece course with only six people, and there was one professor, and he was just like a throwback from the olden days. He kind of looked like Trotsky. He had these little glasses like this and a big, huge frontal lobe, and he was about 5'3" with a German accent, and he was just the toughest teacher in the world. And
sometimes if you want really small classes all the time, you might not get that as much here. But I think the faculty that I've encountered is fairly open, and if you make a move to go and talk to these people, they're very receptive to that.
As a kid, I've always been interested in sciences, and you know, had the chemistry set and the microscope, and you know, brought up in that kind of way, and excited about learning new things, and I've stuck with it.
One of the things that I missed in high school is playing football, and they have like an intramural tackle football program here, and that was really great for me. Beyond that, I was in debate here. I was the president of the team for a year.
The athletic program here is fantastic. Even if you're not on a team, the MAC, which is the Malkin Athletic Center, and the main complex down at Soldiers Field are open to all Harvard students. And you can go swim, play squash, tennis for free. I mean, you can just go down there and do what you want.
How
You
are
can take
the facilities?
They're incredible. Like, we have 2 Olympic-sized pools, and and you can indoor track, which is really cool because the track is raised on the ends so that you never feel like you don't have to slow down to go around curves because it's really great. And there's indoor squash. You can take taekwondo or karate or aerobics, anything you want to. I mean, that's what I'm going to have to do once field hockey ends to keep in shape. But
I don't know, I never think about the future much. I never have. I always do what I want to do at the moment. Sometimes it happens that what I want to do at the moment is also, if you were to ask me, what I'd want to do for the rest of my life. So.
What do you really enjoy doing here? Is there any particular thing that's a real big passion you want to see?
Watching, looking, people. That's what I like to do. It was the only place I applied to. I don't know. I would have gone somewhere else.
I'm from Iran originally. I've been living in Switzerland for the past 10 years since the revolution. Why I decided to come, these are all like questions that have been asked over and over again. So it's like, it becomes a speech after a while that you know all the words to. I think I have no idea what Iran is about. I told you I'd make it into a dream. You know, it becomes a sort of, you know, something to sort of fight for, a sort of ideal, an abstract sort of thing. But I think on a concrete level, I think my sort of generation and my sort of education is going to be very useful for building up Iran in an economic way.
It is your first opportunity for most of these people, including myself. I mean, it's the first opportunity you have to be social and not be the nerd who stands out, or the overachiever who everybody really doesn't like very much.
Buying or anything, but if you just want to sign up to indicate interest, we'll send you more material about our group in general and specifically about this protest, this sort of thing. Even though I think that I personally would have a really hard time deciding to kill something that was growing inside me, I don't think that women should be denied that right if there are really cases where they have to do it.
I'm really happy I decided to come here, and I think that basically there are things about any college that would make people happy. I don't know anybody, any of my friends at any of the colleges they finally chose to go to. I don't know anyone who's not happy for some reason or other, because basically college is a lot of fun. College in itself is fun, but I'm really happy with Harvard.
2, 4, 6, 8, open discussion and debate. 2, 4, 6, 8, open discussion and debate.
Harvard University, it seems a kind of a funny thing to say about Harvard, but I've gotten a great education, not from the books so much as from doing this kind of protest. I'm interested in how corporations influence everyday people and everyday lives, how they structure people's options. There is no more sophisticated corporation, as far as I'm concerned, in this country than Harvard University. I couldn't have gotten a better education anywhere.
We'll be here. We'll be here.
When I first came here, I was a pre-med, when I went away, I went to Paris for a year and worked in a hospital in a working class section, and I realized that I didn't want to become a doctor, because while as a doctor you're in a privileged position to save someone's life, you're in absolutely no position to change it. I remember there was one guy who worked in a thermometer factory who came in with mercury poisoning. And we treated him for mercury poisoning, and the next day he went back to his job in the thermometer factory. The problem, in one sense, was his mercury poisoning, but the other sense was unsafe conditions, the fact that he wasn't unionized. I think that to help people, you have to engage in politics. And so next year I'm going to, I think I'm going to go to Washington and work with Ralph Nader. I like walking by the river. For some reason that's really important to me. And I'm a big fan of jazz, if you ask about music. Actually, jazz and Frank Zappa are my two favorites.
Well,
Justin, what were you?
I was I was number one. But I mean, that's not to say. I don't know. I think it was because the high school was easy.
I was 2 by a 10th of a point. But, no, I sound really competitive, but I'm not. No.
Well, I go by a couple mottos in life. The first thing is, right now, my first motto is I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Obviously, I know I'm going to be here 8 months, you know, and I will go home for the summer. So I have my fun 8 months, go home for 4 months, and you know, every time I go somewhere else, I have the same motto. Then I have another policy: live every day like you died yesterday. I guess I can spill the beans. I was drafted in the 2nd round by the LA Kings, and so, you know, my chances of playing pro hockey are, you know, they're good. And, you know, with Gretzky there, Wayne Gretzky, I'm like ecstatic that you know, maybe down the line I'll have a chance to play with him.
I love going to the top floor Widener Library and going into the classics library and reading the Iliad. I mean, I think that's like real intellectual, it's just fun. I mean, where else can you do that? I love being able to have a professor, Martin Feldstein, who gets mentioned at the presidential debate. I think that's, to be able to be taught by people who are framing, you know, the policies of our country is really a kind of a great thing.
Harvard is one huge bureaucracy in some ways. I mean, absolutely incredible. And when you have to track down professors and teaching fellows, I mean, you have to work hard to do anything here. I mean, it's a lot of obstacles to overcome. And I think one thing I used to tell my parents was they used to be surprised that, you know, I didn't mind going up to talk to people in the street or, you know, to go talk to my congressman. And I said, look, there's nothing more intimidating, okay, when you're a student and you have to go talk to this professor who you know is absolutely brilliant, and chances are you haven't done the reading, you know, and if you can go in and carry that off, you can do anything, you know, I don't care what it is.